Welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast, where strategic leaders get straight to the topics, strengthening our awareness and sharpening our minds. The Pen Leader Podcast is produced by Roar, a production division of Mays & Associates Ltd. Find out more at www.maysassociatesltd.com. Now here is your award-winning host, Dr. Shanda Gore.
And welcome to the Pen Leader Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about finding your voice. And I have with me a very special guest today. I have Taj Johnson George, who is a singer, a songwriter, an author, a philanthropist, best known as a member of the Grammy Nominated R&B group SWV, Sisters with Voices, one of the most successful female groups of the 1990s. Beyond music, Taj has showcased her talents in television, writing, and philanthropy, empowering women and communities through her voice and her leadership. She is also the wife of Heisman Trophy winner and NFL great Eddie George, and who is now the head football coach at Bowling Green State University. Taj continues to inspire others by balancing artistry, family, service with authenticity and strength. And I'm so glad to have her with me. Welcome, Taj.
You. Thank you for having me.
And you look great. You look great.
Thank you. I'm working on like 6 hours of sleep today and 3 hours on the road. So if I seem a little, just know I'm here.
Well, you're definitely here, and we're so glad to have you. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
So I had just, there are so many questions I have. I have been a big fan for a number of years, and you inspire so many in all the work that you do. But, I'd like to hear about your performing on stage and being part of SWV and how it shaped your whole perspective of leadership.
Wow. I guess being a part of SWV, it taught me that leadership is not always being the loudest. It's about listening. It's about respecting each other's space. It's about I guess just pretty much knowing when to step up and when to support. That would be the easiest way to explain that.
And do the lessons that you've learned as you go, from between all of the different parts of your career, can you talk about how that shaped your leadership style?
Yeah, I believe again, just being in a group, you have to be able to assert yourself without dominating, because especially in a group when you're evenly matched, we're one third of this group. So being able to understand their perspectives, or listening to their perspectives, basically listening and understanding what each other are trying to say, it just helps to I guess lead in a way that's complementary,
Mhm.
because we all have our strengths. So somebody has to step up in certain situations. So we respect each other's strength, listening to while listening to what we want to do, and we go from there, because we all work together as a team. It's not one person over the other. It's us in this together. CMB.
All
We
right.
all we got.
Well, that comes to trust and collaboration. And
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
mentioned team. And for individuals out there that are leaders that listen to the show and, they're trying to pull their teams together too. How is that with how you can go through and have this team and thrive? Because you don't always agree. And I know trust is a big part, but how did you maneuver that?
Trust. Exactly. Trust is the biggest part. Respect and I guess adaptability, because in every situation, especially in a group, okay, groups are different. When you're solo, it's you by yourself. You all you have. But within a group, there's a level of trust that each person has to have to be able to turn your back and know that everything is okay. So and that's a part of being a leader also. You have to know when to assert yourself and when to say I'll step back and just be the supporter in this situation, because again, like I said, everyone has their own strengths. So if I make a good pound cake, I'm going to step up and lead that pound cake baking class at the best of my ability because that's what I do best. It's all about your strengths and trust.
And, there's been times when you had crisis too,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And challenges. How would you suggest, especially with a team group, and you talked about, all of you are leaders in your own right,
Mhm.
but how did you manage crisis management when things popped up? And especially in the music industry, it's tough, right?
Absolutely. And the music industry is uh, a war zone. It is definitely a place where you have to have resilience, uh, um, adaptability, and know the power of relationships because success often comes from collaborations and consistency. So it's not just about talent. So when you're in a group and you're trying to be successful, there's steps that you have to take, and it's almost as if you're avoiding landmines because the wrong step can blow up your career or expand your career. And it's just knowing the difference and being patient. Patience is a virtue. Being patient enough to know that when you make a step to the left, that their integrity and empathy make you believe that this was the best fit for you and go for it.
Or you worked in television and philanthropy as well. So how does that leadership style that you were talking about with your adaptability, how did it work across the other arenas? Was it the same? Did you feel like you needed to change the style?
Mm, um, No, I don't think you have to really change your style when you from community to leadership or whatever music industry. The music industry is very um, it's adaptable, and I think each one of them have their own culture. So you just have to be able to um, be have your integrity, and if it doesn't feel right or if you don't understand something, be able to say, I don't understand this area. Explain it to me. That's a part of leadership as well. Surrendering the fact that you can't or don't know everything. You have to, even leaders learn. So in that situation, you have to just know what culture you're in, be respectful of it, and move forward.
So you talked to her about integrity and having that and knowing obviously who you are, so what you're bringing to the table. Have you ever had a situation where, again, it was challenging, or you might have witnessed it to be challenging for somebody else to say, you know what, step back and let the professionals work?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, literally, that's every day. If it's not in your house, you literally perform that exercise every day because everyone that you see will not make the best decisions. They won't do what's right by whoever, or they might not even know what they're doing. So sometimes people don't want to listen and they don't want your advice. They don't want you to step into their space because they feel like they can handle it. And in that situation, as a leader, the best thing for you to do is step back and wait for them to come to you. When they do come to you, be prepared to be the best person that you can be to help them get out of wherever they are or move them forward from where they want to go, help them move forward. Yeah, leadership is up, down, round, and back. There's no one path.
Thinking about what you probably have mentored so many individuals, both across.
Indirectly, I'm sure.
And there comes a point, and because I've felt this myself, you're mentoring someone, and it's not always like, do I have the right answers for this person who's asking me, what should be the next step? And you try to guide as much as possible, but it doesn't always work out. It's like you have to pick the best path for yourself. But have you, what philosophy do you take when you have someone who's saying, could you please, mentor me, guide me? How do you approach that when you take on a mentee?
Well, the first thing I do when someone approaches me about trying to help them or mentor them is I have to get a clear understanding on what they want to do. I need to understand their mental capacity and where they are. Everybody who wants to be famous doesn't really know what it takes to be famous. They just think you walk outside and the cameras are there. It is a lot of work, and first you have to establish where they are mentally. Is this something you're willing to put in the work for? Is this something that you believe you have the resilience to do? Because the music industry, you have to be able to be resilient and adaptable because it's changing constantly and it will tear you to shreds. So I have to definitely evaluate the mentality first, and if they sound like or feel like they're ready to go, I kind of just give them a little tidbit of what the industry will be like. I almost want them to scratch their knees first so they can understand. And you can see if that scratch is going to make them run or make them work. So what I just try to explain to young people or whoever comes to me and asks me questions, I try to explain to them some of the things that I had to go through and what I had to endure to get where I am before they can even step outside and say, "Here I am, I'm famous." That's my process. I just want to start from one. I don't want to jump to 100 and we have to backtrack because you've fallen all over the place. And most people can't handle that. Most people don't want to work. I've worked with several artists. There was this young group that I worked with, these guys in Atlanta. They had their music. They had already been in the studio. They had recorded some songs, but when they approached me, they felt like they were already there. I'm looking at them like, yep, what'd you do? What did you do? You did nothing. You went into a studio and recorded some songs. You haven't promoted, you haven't done anything that's consistent with an artist, but you think you're an artist? At that point, you have to break them down. You have to break them down and show them the manual. It's not just page 1 to 100. You got to go through each page to get where you have to go. It's rare that someone will be an overnight instant sensation. Everybody can't be Pudge.
Those that don't know who Pudge is the famous cat that has been brought as part of, I think, is Pudge? I'm trying to figure, is that the mascot? Do we have a new mascot? What is going on?
No, Pudge is the honorary mascot. He is adorable, though. And to his credit, it wasn't even his fault. It wasn't his fault. That's why he's handling it so well. He just sits there and he's looking around like all these people love me, but it's all good. Anyway, everyone can't be Pudge.
Really can't be Pudge. I saw him that first game and I was sitting there and I had great seats and I said, "Are they pulling out that poor little kitty?" And I saw him and he looked relaxed. He was like, "I'm here. And this is who I am."
Security.
She was just holding him. And I said, "Okay, this is cool." And when animals like get it, they're like, "I am the show. This is good."
Yes, yes. So yeah, that's a great way to make it happen. But unfortunately, everyone doesn't have a viral moment. And even if you do, guess what? Viral moments die as well. Viruses will die.
They do. Well, that is a word right there. They will eventually die.
Yes,
So
yes. So what do you do from that point? How do you keep your shit moving? That's where your integrity, your resilience, your vision, that's where it comes into play. Leaders will find that way to maneuver around the obstacles to keep moving forward, even if it's just 1% a day.
yeah, I was going to say there's got to be days when you get up and you say, "Okay, I've got this whole list of things I have to do. I got to keep motivated, and not every day is the greatest day." And so,
Mm.
how do word for those that are listening and are leaders who might be challenged? What advice would you give to keep yourself motivated? What is it that you do to keep yourself forward thinking the way you do?
The advice that I would give someone about keeping yourself motivated, what I do to keep myself motivated, I try to take a day. I take that time. When I'm feeling frustrated, when I'm feeling stifled, when I'm feeling like I just want to slap my husband, I take a moment. I take a moment
We've all been
because
there. We've
yeah,
been
you
married a
you
long
can't think
time.
clearly when your mind is racing and clouded and just frustration. I'm a stress eater. If I start eating too much, I know it's time to sit back and maybe catch a nap. I know it's time to just reevaluate what I'm doing because you might need a day off. Yeah, everything is, you turn off lights. Everything needs a break. Everything needs a break. So take that moment to reevaluate, step back. If you got to scream, holler, eat, whatever you need to do, take that moment so your focus can be direct and clear when you get back on stage or wherever you have to go and what you want to do.
I think that's a great way of saying, again, for those leaders, they are on stage. People are watching them. I've talked to a number of leaders and say, even when you think you're off, you're still on because someone is seeing what you're doing, even when you're relaxing. They're trying to
Yeah.
figure out, how are you successful? What are you doing to get there? How are you making this so efficient that you are successful and you got there? So I try to stress to them, you are on, but there is a way of turning it off. And the most successful leaders do take their time off.
Yeah, take a pause from social media, take a pause from your cell phone, take a pause from television. You just have to clear your mind sometimes. I like to take hot baths. I'm a hot bath to death. I love a hot tub. I love some bath salts. Whenever I need a break, when I'm tired, when I need to just re-energize, I like a hot bath. That's my personal time. No one can come in there and bother me. Although when Eric was younger, he did. But now he's like, Mom is naked. I can't go in there. I'm taking off my clothes instantly when I need a break.
Those that don't, Eric is now, he is fully grown out there
Yes.
doing his dream too, right?
My baby, yes, Eric Michael George. I tell you what, he's definitely developing into a great leader. When he was younger, I would say in elementary school, he used to run behind his friends. Everything was me and my friends, me and my friends. And I asked him one day, "What do you want to do?" He told me, "I want to play football." I asked him, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" He said, "I'm going to practice." Okay, all right, let me see what you do. He will get up, he will eat whatever he needs to eat to be strong. He works out all day during the off season. They what do you call it? Voluntary workouts, whatever they call it in sports. He did
Yes.
every last one of them. Eric is dedicated to his sport. When he's on that field, he's telling them where to go, what to do. And I always tell him, "Don't be so bossy." And he tells me, "You told me to be a leader, and I have to shut up." I
So
have
you're
to shut up.
demonstrating, and you're leading by example, so he's paying attention.
He's paying attention, and I'm so proud of him because his passion is football, and he's living his dream.
Well, it's definitely paying off. I have enjoyed watching him on the field
Thank
and seeing the
you.
games, and it is such a pleasure to see the joy. And I had the privilege of actually meeting him when before the season kicked off, and they meet the team, and he was right there, and we were talking, and it was just a great moment. So very personable, like his mom.
That's my baby. That's my baby. Gonna always be my baby.
That's right. No matter how big they get.
Yep, I told his girlfriend the same thing. He's my baby first.
Let him know. Let him know.
Yeah, he's my baby first. You can have him, but I'm gonna keep him.
uh Well, this actually, then my next question, actually my last question is about relaxation. And
Yes.
you just mentioned about taking care of yourself and bath time and just closing the world away. But I know our listeners, we've got a lot of book readers out there, people watching different shows. But do you have any books, or what do you listen to, or what are you watching?
This is really funny. A lot of self-help books for one, but I haven't been reading any. Well, I did read one. Uh, it was about diet and cleaning your gut. It was a self-help book about that. But one thing that I've been watching religiously for the last few months, and and he thinks I'm crazy, but I love watching Little House on the Prairie. And there's on
Really?
Roku, there's a Little House on the Prairie channel. I literally watch that channel all day. I sleep with it because I have to sleep with the television on. My mind races. So I like the television on so I can focus on one thing and go to sleep. Little House on the Prairie, I recommend that show for anyone who believes in a higher power, who believes in resilience, empathy, love, Religion, it is just such a classic show that teaches so much. In every episode, I learn something new. I want everyone to be the Ingalls. The world need to be the Ingalls. I want to be Laura. I want Michael Landon as my daddy. I just really, really love that show and the messages that it has. It's a 9-season show. I watched every last episode over and over again. So that's my guilty pleasure. Eddie says I'm obsessed. I agree, but I don't care.
So I watched it for a number of years. I was devastated when they blew up the town. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to
But
say that.
we have to stand on business. What you're not going to do is take my land and my house. No, you can have one, but not everything.
You can't have it all. And I was like, it was the right thing to do, but I was devastated.
Yeah, yeah. Now they need to have a new Little House on the Prairie. They need to bring like what 6 generations later, Laura's kids, grandkids, great grandkids.
Great grandchildren. Yes. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing that. And we all have those guilty pleasures. I'm with you on that. There's some I like the older shows. I like the
Love
classics.
it.
I like the
Love it.
classics, and it does help go to sleep on. For those that listen to the show, they know mine is Murder, She Wrote. I will watch
Uh-huh. I used to watch that too.
Murder, She Wrote. Yes. So leaders who are listening out there, yes, it's okay to have these guilty pleasures. Am I right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't have a life without fun. That's just no fun. Do
That's
what you
right.
have to do. Be that leader, but also you have your time and your pleasures, your guilty pleasures. Now, I can eat candy all day, but it's not going to help my teeth. So I'd rather watch Little House on the Prairie.
It's a good trade-off right there.
Yeah.
So remember, those that don't want to see the dentist, I'm not trying to see the dentist. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for coming on the show and just
Thank you for
sharing that.
having me.
And I'm gonna say this: go Falcons, go Falcons! Talents up. There you go.
Wait, I'm doing a cat. Wait, here it is. There we go.
There's that talent. I see it. I see it. And we'd like to thank our watchers and listeners too for the show. No matter where you are in the country or whatever you are in whatever country overseas, we appreciate you and we'd love to have your feedback at info@maisassociatesltd.com. We'd also like to thank today's show sponsor, the Maine Intelligence Network. Come be a part of the focus network of entrepreneurs, leaders, executives, and authors committed to sharpening leadership and strategy while scaling ventures with intention. This is a place where practical thinking meets high caliber connection. Check out the Maine at www.maisassociatesltd.com and select Maine on the homepage to learn more and sign up for how you can get connected. So, of course, until next time.
The Pen Leader podcast is hosted by Dr. Shanda Gore and brought to you by Ms. and Associates Ltd, creating customized solutions for growth in the areas of leadership development, strategic planning, and culture building. Find out more at www.maisassociatesltd.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Pen Leader podcast and share with others.